Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of KimUnity Soulutions Podcast, the only podcast that turns workplace challenges into real-world solutions. It is so good to be with you all today. If you are a new listener, we welcome you. Thank you for visiting. I am your host, Kim the SME. As always, I am only speaking from my experiences. Now, today I want to ask you, when is the last time you used fear or negative motivation as your fuel? What is it that you do because of your past, because of a negative past experience? And it's that thought of, I never want to be there again. I never want to experience that again. So I'm going to do this instead. What is that? And how far has that gotten you? That's what we're going to be discussing today, using negative motivation as fuel. Let's get into it. So to start off with, what I did was I thought of the term negative motivation and then I Googled it. Google defines negative motivation as behavior motivated by anticipation or fear that an undesirable outcome will result from not performing. So basically what it's saying is that you're motivated based off of a negative past experience, something that you don't want to happen in your future. And so that's what we're going to be discussing today. Should fear be your fuel? And speaking from experience, I've used it and it has been beneficial, but is it healthy? Is it good for us? As I was really thinking about negative motivation, I'm thinking, okay, how does that compare to positive reinforcement? Positive reinforcement, the difference is that positive reinforcement occurs after. So there's an action first, and then there's a reward. And that reward can be anywhere from some kind of privilege. Let's say there's kindergartners or elementary school and they do something and then they get a piece of candy. I remember getting a sticker that had, a strawberry smell, and it was a strawberry sticker and you would scratch. It was just like a scratch and sniff type thing. So those are kind of rewards, privileges, verbal accolades. Okay, so that's what positive reinforcement is. It's an action rewarded by something that comes after. With negative motivation, what I'm thinking of it and what I'm speaking on today is that we are pushing toward something and our fuel is fear or hatred or bad experiences from our past. So we are running away from it based off that. It is not positive. It is not forward thinking. It is based off of past experiences. And so that's what the topic is today. That is the difference between positive reinforcement and negative motivation, because one is a thought that comes first, and the other is a reward that comes after an action. Okay. And so what are some of these examples? Some of them could be maybe your finances. I get on calls all the time where people are in a position or they are taking on this career because they don't ever want to live the way they lived before, or they never want to live the way, someone they know lived, or whatever their experiences were. They are running from that towards something else. It could be your relationships. Maybe you've had horrible relationships. Maybe they were abusive and you're trying to run away from it. So that is your fuel and you're running towards something else. And for me, what prompted this podcast episode was for health reasons. For me, when I started seeing all the sickness that I was seeing around, whether it was family, whether it was friends or friends of friends, especially when it started getting to the people that were younger in age. And it's like, why are they going through that? I don't want to have to do that. Do I have some of those symptoms? And I start thinking to myself, and then I put myself in their shoes. And then I'm thinking to myself, I never want to go through that. I need to get my act together. And that's how it goes. We start saying, because of this, I need to get my act together, or I never want to experience this, so I'm going to do this. And so just recently, matter of fact, I'm on day 5 of juicing. I'm on day 5 of juicing, and it was all prompted. And I've done it before. The maximum I've done is 21 days. And it was very successful. I lost over 20 pounds when I did that. And I could tell it in my eyes and my skin, my health, my weight, everything improved. And I had been telling myself, and that was years ago, matter of fact. And I had been telling myself that I need to do it again. I need to do it longer, but I kept putting it off. It wasn't until someone I knew got sick. And it's like, okay, they are younger than me. I need to get myself together. I don't want to have to go through that. And so that was my negative motivation that I was using as fuel to proceed with what I'm trying to do. Maybe for you, it's decision making. Maybe you've made bad decisions in the past. And because of those bad decisions, you're seeking advice from everybody. You're only doing what they say instead of relying on yourself. You're using old information for new ideas, new chances, new opportunities. Maybe it's nicknames. I mean, there's so much that we bring from us, from our past, that we remember, and that we use that for fuel instead of thinking of an optimistic goal. Why am I speaking about that? How healthy can it be? How healthy is it that we are running in fear? That we are running from something instead of running toward something? This is something we have to think about. And this is where self-reflection comes from. This is from introspection. We can't just keep moving day to day. We have to start thinking back and evaluating ourselves. We can't always rely on everyone else to give us the information we need. We need to go by the way our body feels, the way our thought process is, how our body language, our health is all telling us something. And so I'm just coming on here today, letting you know that if this is you, if I've spoken on something that resonates with you, that you've experienced, think about it. Check it out. Dig into that. Maybe it's something that you were known from in the past. Maybe you were the one who didn't have the nice clothes back in the day. And so now you have to go above and beyond because you never want to relive that. You never want to get those nicknames again. You never want anyone to call you out because of what you're doing now that resembles your past. I hope I'm making sense to you all. How do we know when we're doing this? And I was trying to think of some phrases, and I went through in my notes and I started writing things down, like in our thought process, how do we know that we are using negative motivation as fuel? And one of them is when we say to ourselves, I don't want to be like them. Or maybe your family says, well, you don't want to be like this, or don't do this because remember what happened when. There's always a reference of the past that is used to push you forward, right? Or this runs in the family. High blood pressure runs in the family, so you need to be eating better. And so now you're running to eat better, instead of just wanting your health to be optimal, wanting to live longer. When we put that fear behind it, it adds an extra ingredient into our effort. It adds an extra ingredient to our well-being. It adds an extra ingredient to our consciousness and to our senses, because now there's added pressure. Now there's anxiety. Now there's frustration, rush, speed. Now you're putting something on, especially if you have children. Now this is something that they are mirroring, that they are noticing, that they will probably start to repeat. And that's not what we want. We don't want to live out of fear. We don't want to succeed out of fear. We don't want fear. We don't want fear. And so let me see, what a genes, it runs in the family. Okay, but you can be that generational breaker. You could be the one that breaks that generational barrier. No, just because it happened to them, it will not happen to me. Another phrase would be, remember when you used to do this? Or I used to be called, back in the day, they used to call me, or they used to say I would never. Or when I was growing up, I never had. What is it that you are repeating in your mind as fuel? I realized I was doing this. And so I definitely had another topic planned for today, but after I realized this today, I said, let me speak on this, because you never know what someone else is going through. So I said, let me share this. And as I do, I speak on my own experiences, right? This is my experience. It's not healthy. It causes anxiety. But guess what? Using negative motivation as fuel, using fear as fuel, does it work? Yes, it does. But for how long? What are the side effects? What are the side effects of using negative motivation as fuel? It's infectious. It is contagious. It makes those around you feel the same and feel that same energy. It's not positive energy. And let me tell you, when I did look this term up, it said that fear is a powerful motivator. All power isn't good. All power isn't positive. Please keep that in mind. All power is not healthy. It is not always beneficial. So just because fear is a powerful motivator doesn't mean it's the right one to use. Another side effect of negative motivation is stress. It's more stress because you're thinking about the negative aspects. You're reliving something over and over and over again, instead of starting from the starting point of where you are now, of your last experience. Instead of referring back to your latest experience, you're going all the way back. And you don't have to. You already know that, and you've passed that, and now it's time to move forward. And what I can do now, especially in my example of juicing and getting healthy, is, and what I did do, which made me realize it, is now that I see that I have lost weight and my numbers are looking good, I can go from that. I don't have to go back to past experiences or looking at what friends are going through. I can now say, okay, I've lost 5 pounds. How long will it take for me to get to 7? What can I do to make sure I get to 7? You see the difference? I'm not going back to, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened to him. Let me get to the gym because I don't want that to happen to me. No, I'm starting from where I am now. I have lost 5 pounds. Or you've stopped drinking sodas, or you're eating more fruits and vegetables. You're eating raw. You're going vegan, whatever it is, even if it's temporary. Use your latest experience. Another side effect of negative motivation is it's a bad cycle of thoughts. You are just creating recurring negative thoughts. And you may not realize it, but it's impacting those around you. It's impacting you. Because now you're always uptight. There's always something in the back of your mind that there could be failure, that there can be loss, that there will be another bad experience like what happened in the past. Instead of looking optimistically. What you focus on grows. If you're going to focus on the negative, there will be more negative. We have to learn to focus on the positive. And it's very difficult depending on what your current situation is, how long you were in that bad relationship or that bad experience or that bad financial situation. Maybe you had to file bankruptcy and now you're saying, never will I ever. Maybe you messed up your credit. Never will I ever. So now here you are with 3 jobs. You're working 2 jobs. Now you're tired. You're overworked. You're stressed. You don't have time for family because you're running in fear. Instead of thinking back. Now, don't get me wrong. I reflect back frequently, but it's not my motivation. I reflect back because of where I am now. Sometimes I will think and say, okay, how did I get here? I wonder what made me think like this. And then I backtrack because I'm trying to figure out where something developed. But it's not based out of fear. It's based out of curiosity. It's something in me that wants to dig deep. And that's what I do. I'm very detailed oriented. I'm a problem solver. So I always have to go back to the root. But going back to the root to observe and to learn is much different than using it as fuel. We have to make sure that we understand that. Another side effect is that negative motivation, it impacts your decision making. Because you're basing all of your decisions off of something in the past. You're always thinking about the past. You're not thinking about growth. You're not thinking about things on the horizon. You're not thinking about not even current events. You are looking way back. Another side effect is that you are always revisiting that negative space. If we are in that much fear, if we are in that much need of not experiencing that again, why do we keep revisiting it? Why are we using that? It's a daily reminder. Can you imagine someone else coming to you and reminding you of how you grew up back in the day? If you had that type of background, if somebody came up to you every day and said, I remember when you had holes in your shoes. I remember when, your hair was a mess every day. I remember when you and your brother shared clothes. I remember when your family didn't have any money. I remember. You would want to fight. You would want to fight. But now it's you. You are that person reminding yourself of that every single time you go out to pursue your dreams, pursue your goals. Are you going to fight yourself? What are you going to do? This is just something that I wanted you to think about because it's something that I thought about, and I know we can do better. I know we can do better. There is better for us. Yes, we went through that in the past. Yes, we know people who are suffering, but that does not have to be our fuel. We can see it. We can plan for success. We can plan for good health. We can take that action based off of where we are now. And even if you didn't have that experience or see it, no one wants it. No one wants it. But they're not focused on the past. They are focused on where their goals are, where their vision is. Can you get results with using negative motivation? Because I know there's people out there who say, oh no, I use that as fuel. I will never let my kids be raised the way I was. I understand that. But see, even that tone that you have, even that voice that you're speaking to yourself right now, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. You can look back, but don't stay there. You can look back, but use your current situation as fuel. What do you want to see different from now? Like I said, I've lost 5 pounds. What do I want to see from now? 7 pounds, 10 pounds. And going on from there. I'm not going all the way back to when I was a child. Focus on your current results. Focus on your current traction. What are you doing now? What have you done recently? Celebrate that. Celebrate where you are now. Life is a beautiful thing when we look at where we are, what we've made it through, what we've overcame. It should be a celebration. It shouldn't be fear. Those are all learning lessons. And once we learn from it, once we progress from it, we have a new starting point. Today, when you woke up, you have a new starting point. Whatever the doctor told you, you can do better. You can improve it. What can you do right now? What investment can you make? Where can you put your money as far as finances? What decisions can you do better? Can you make better? What relationships can you build now? You know what you want, and I'm speaking from today or yesterday. What can you do better tomorrow based on today? Use your recent experiences as your starting point instead of your ground zero. I thank you all for tuning in. Are you a business leader who's listening to me right now? Is your company experiencing increased turnover? Are your employees disengaged in the workplace? Are you an employee who is disengaged? Are you struggling with communicating with management or collaborating with your team? Reach out to me. Go to KimUnity Soulutions. That's KimUnity Soulutions, like soul, spirit, SOULUTIONS.com. Go to KimUnitySolutions.com and book a strategy call with me. It's free. Let's get to the root of it. Here at KimUnity Solutions, we help improve employee engagement and reduce turnover by building the bridge between leadership and staff. We do that by workshop facilitation, leadership training and enhancement, as well as process optimization and group and individual consultations. Why do we do this? It helps you improve your collaboration, your communication, and your overall company culture. If you are interested in a free strategy call, book an appointment with me. Let's get started today. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you listening. I hope you have learned something. I hope I have piqued your interest in something. I hope that you pay attention to your thought process and what's going on in your mind and in your body and in your health and your finances and in your relationships, because this all plays a role in our society. Yes, I've been talking about how it impacts us individually and within our families, but who we are, we're not just staying in the house. We are out at work. We are in public. We are with friends. And so whatever we're going through, we are carrying it around with us. So this is just something for you to think about. This is something that was on my mind, and I really, really thought it was important for me to share. Maybe you hadn't even thought about it. Or maybe you did say, you were proud to say, I will not be what I was, which is fine. But I hope this has piqued interest for you to rethink how you calibrate, to rethink how you move forward, to use a different method, to think about where you were yesterday and how you can improve instead of going back to that hurtful place and taking your family and friends along for the ride. I am your host, Kim the SME. It was a blessing and an honor to be with you all today, and I look forward to joining you and you joining me next week. You all have a blessed one. Be blessed.